Hello, passengers, and welcome aboard the TV Pilot's License with service to Cougar Town. We ask that you please fasten your headphones, secure your podcasting device, and remember that on this flight, the only light is provided by flickering candles, which, yes, we know is a fire hazard, but also, damn, do we all look good.
Welcome to the TV Pilot's License. My name is Geoff Kerbis, joined by Rich, Inman, and Max Singer. How you boys doing today?
Guys, have you heard? There's a case of listomania going around.
All right. We're all going to do my intro line on Together on 3. We all rehearsed it, right? 1, 2, 3. Forget it, Jake. It's Cougar Town.
Well, gentlemen, this week, if the intro didn't give you a sneak preview, we are going to be talking about Cougar Town. But before we do so, and before we get too in-depth, maybe you're here for the first time, maybe you're a frequent flyer. Max, what is this podcast all about?
Yeah, Rich's definitely gave it away. Mine, you have to have seen the pilot to have gotten. Here at TV Pilot's License, we
this doesn't take place in Phoenix at all.
Here at TV Pilot's License, we break down and analyze the pilot episodes of some of TV's most famous, or in some cases, infamous shows. We learn more about how these shows came to be and were originally made, if they're effective pilot episodes and making us want to watch more, and if they could be made today. Go back and stream our old episodes from wherever you listen to podcasts. Check us out on YouTube and TikTok to see our smiling faces. And if it is your first time flying with us, then welcome aboard.
And Rich, what is your question of the week?
Guys, I've been playing my favorite game, Zillowing houses in other cities. And while we don't know where Cougar Town is, or if it's just really a state of mind, I've been seeing some houses that we can all afford down there, and I think there's one available. Are you moving to Cougar Town? Yes or no, and why? All
right, so as a Florida boy, I feel like I have to talk about this in depth. Does the prospect of all of us living in the same cul-de-sac sound really appealing? Absolutely.
Hey, Jeff, I got one way to fix that.
Yeah, no, I know, right? There is a way of fixing that, and it requires one of us to move rather than two of us to move. But
you mean all three?
Yeah, all three of us move one place.
No, Jeff's already in Cougar Town.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the problem with Cougar Town. It's in Florida, and I want nothing to do with that state.
Right.
So if you can sell me on Cougar Town in another part of the country, boy, am I there. But for now, it is a no from me, Cougars. Max, what about yourself?
All right, well, a quick search on Wikipedia shows that Cougar Town takes place in the fictional Florida town of Gulf Haven, so at least we know what side of the state it's on. And I'm also going to be a pretty solid no. I've lived in a very dry climate for about 11 years now, and I just don't think I could do the humidity that comes with Florida. Also, the homeowner's insurance. Are you kidding me? Trying to get property insured on the Gulf side of Florida in this age? Absolutely not. That'd be insane. I'm actually more likely to be able to buy a home in Los Angeles.
Rich, what about you?
Well, I think I gotta go with both of your guys' answer on this, just because it's Florida, and also with the eroding coastline, the only person who's in decent shape to not have their home destroyed is Brian Van Holt's boat in a parking garage.
Also me.
Also you.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard you guys are talking shit about an ABC property. Oh. Yeah, I'm back, fuckers. You haven't heard from me in a while.
Oh my gosh. Well,
is that
Florida,
president of ABC?
Is that Bob Iger? Bob Iger.
Bob Iger. They say he's 1'5", weighs as much as a feather,
and got kicked in the nuts.
Well, Rich, thank you for that thoughtful question of the week. Let's talk a little bit more about Cougar Town. And we're going to start off with a quick synopsis. A recently divorced single mother explores the dating life! ! Which, yeah, for the pilot of the show, I think does a pretty apt job of explaining what we watched. But Max, how did this show get made?
Today, we're talking about the pilot episode of Cougar Town, which originally aired on September 23rd, 2009 on ABC. We're talking about the show's creator, Bill Lawrence, a bit more today, an alum of my high school, Richfield High School. Go
Welcome
Tigers.
back, Bill.
We've previously discussed Lawrence in depth on our Scrubs episode, so go back and check out that classic TV Pilot's License episode. The brains behind hit shows such as Spin City, Scrubs, Shrinking, and Ted Lasso, today's pilot begins while Lawrence is prepping the 8th season of Scrubs. Following the cancellation of her FX show Dirt, Courteney Cox approaches Lawrence about wanting to make a return to comedy. Lawrence is a member of the writing staff for season 1 of Friends. Dirt, as I'm looking it up right now, was a one-season drama at FX about a tabloid editor and her photographer trying to make their way in the world of celebrity journalism. Cool.
Oh, shit.
While working on a concept to pitch starring Cox, Lawrence offers her a 3-episode arc in season 8 of Scrubs as a trial run, portraying the role of Dr. Taylor Maddox. This mutual test pays off, and together with staff writer Kevin Beagle, they create a pilot centered around Cox as a 40-year-old newly single woman. Quote Lawrence, "I chose to do this because Courteney is funny and, more importantly, fearless when doing self-deprecating comedy about what it really means to be 40 and single. Plus, the trials and tribulations of the 40-year-old woman are my wheelhouse." Lawrence does attribute
Bill Lawrence,
credit on the
canonically
show's concept
40-year-old
to-
woman.
Lawrence does attribute credit on the show's concept to his wife, actress Christa Miller, co-star of today's pilot, and a recent TV PO alum in our coverage of The Drew Carey Show.
Yeah.
Hey.
The show was pitched to ABC with other less flashy working titles of 40 and Single and The Courteney Cox Show. Cougar Town was chosen because it was noisy and draw attention. Lawrence and Cox's combined star power allowed the show to skip a lot of development steps, with the network ordering a pilot ready to go by end of January 2009. Just for the record, season 8 of Scrubs premiered January 6, 2009.
Oh, wow.
filming-
That's what I was doing on January 6th.
All right. Oh, Christ.
Watching the premiere of season 8 of Scrubs. We're taking it back.
Man, I don't know
We're
if did
reclaiming
any
it.
of us get sleep.
We're reclaiming it for all the Dr. Taylor Maddox heads out there.
God damn it.
Oh, God.
Filming for the pilot took place on the Culver Studios backlot and was directed by Lawrence himself. The pilot, along with episode 19 of season 1, are actually the only 2 episodes of this series not named for Tom Petty songs.
That's
Finally, Cougar Town was one of 3 new pilots ABC aired on this fateful Wednesday night in September 2009. The show aired in between the premieres of Modern Family and the short-lived Eastwick. So it looks like Eastwick and Dirt are going to be future TVP episodes. Let us know what you want to learn.
Eastwick, Dirt, and Bill, if you're listening, Whiskey Cavalier, please come on the show. I want to talk about it with somebody, anybody, please. I love that show.
Do you guys remember? I mean, obviously there was a lot happening January 2009. We got our first black president. Thanks for looking up. But also, do you guys remember any of the advertising that was leading up to this show's release?
Yeah, I really do, because it was built and it was sold as the idea of Cougars was this like moment in 2000 in the late aughts. For the Gen Z that are listening, welcome. And thank you so much for being avid listeners. You definitely are defying our demographics of this podcast. Now, there was a moment where the concept of a cougar was like wild and it was crazy and it was a little bit spicy. And it was like, oh, older women dating younger men? Who knew?
They travel in
Yeah,
packs.
you
They eat mostly.
You call it a trend, but some things never go out of style, baby. That's evergreen.
But there was that thing, and it was this vice that was going around, and this show leaned into that with its marketing, with the idea of Courteney Cox is this older woman who's really in like, and they made it very much like heavy-handed. Boy, is she into younger
Right.
men, and boy, are all of the women in this town only into younger men, as if it's a disease or an affliction of some sort.
Yeah, this is like watching this pilot made me realize like how different this eventually became, because this is like, I mean, pure Bill Lawrence comedy once we actually get the show going, but it was marketed so overtly sexually that it was just like Courteney Cox is gonna bang a bunch of young guys, and like,
Courteney Cox is gonna bang you, Rich Inman.
yeah, it's like put on your virtual reality glasses, and it just like the immediate turn of like This is about body image and aging and dating and gender inequality in terms of in terms of acceptance for for sexuality. It all went out the window immediately. It's so fascinating.
Well, and I think today we're all going to talk about what Cougar Town means to us. What is our Cougar Town?
Yeah.
But I don't remember necessarily the marketing leading up to the premiere, but I do remember at some point, it had to have been either season 2 or 3. They did a whole campaign where the posters were like bad title, good comedy, and they kind of started to lean into it. And obviously, we're going to talk about the themes and the mission statement of this pilot, but the title is a misnomer. It's an absolutely a misnomer. I saw one guy in a mascot suit and no other big cats.
Oh wait. Yeah. And also, the reason that this is still relevant is that Challengers did this exact same fucking ad campaign for their movie. That movie is not about sex or threesomes at all. It's not. It's barely about being horny. It's mostly about tennis and aging and what you do when your passion betrays you and shit like that.
And how to hit an overhead serve, because for some of us it's very difficult. Well, let's talk a little bit more about this show in general, and let's start off with an introduction that does a lot without saying much in the introduction of Jules. And Max, you sort of mentioned this self-deprecating humor, right? And we literally have Courteney Cox being the ultimate critic of her own body with this, the pulling and the, manipulating of natural aging at this point in time. And, things that are very, very just, uncomfortable to think about, but sometimes you notice a new line in the mirror and are like, oh fuck, where did that come from? And as far as setting the tone or giving us exposition of what our character's main concern is, do you think it does a good job?
I do. I think it's a really good show don't tell moment that sets up this character of Jules and how she perceives herself. I like that it doesn't do VOs or things like that. It's just very candid expressions, and then we're in and out. And so I think that's really effective in introducing you to this character and perhaps their worldview and their sense of self before we really dive too much into what this show is. It's almost like a little cold open on top of a cold open. And I've already made a joke about it once, but man, ADC really shelled out for the hottest indie rock record of summer 2009 in this opening sequence. That record was fucking everywhere that year, including my car.
Rich, what about you as far as an introduction to Jules?
So, first thing I'm thinking of is that Courteney Cox already has 1% body fat. So this is already a little... It's a little off from perception, but what this does, I think it actually borrows on the goodwill from Friends, because you can't do this scene with any other character in the show. It is someone who is them from being famous from when they were young. We've known Courteney Cox since the fucking Bruce Springsteen video. Yeah. And that was she was in her teens at that point. I think she was in her early 20s when she got Friends. And, so this is someone they're relying on audiences to know that they've grown up with. So they're okay, this is someone who I have seen in their youth extensively. And now we're kind of at this stage together.
So very much I appreciate that we have someone who's willing to make fun of themselves in this moment.
Totally.
I think that's super important. Also, if you're expecting any of us to say Courteney Cox doesn't look amazing, how dare you?
It's insane.
She literally looks incredible. I want to be Courteney Cox when I grow up in this moment. But I think that one of the things that this does is we have this moment of these are the concerns that probably are going through this character's head through a lot of their time. But we need a little bit more exposition to be able to truly understand maybe why are they feeling this way, or maybe why are they hyper-focusing on it.
Geoff, give us that exposition.
And I think that the show does a very good job of doing so while surrounded by characters that they're familiar with or that we are going to be interacting with every single day. by meeting one of her good friends / coworker and also her son while being surrounded by the town at a classic Florida football game. So I'm curious for you two, how does the scene do as far as giving us more detail in the photo of what Jules' life is?
When the football team read the banner, I whispered to myself, "That's Cougar Town."
I literally said they wrote the name, like, rather than they said it.
I didn't know. So I've never seen this pilot before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never seen this pilot. And so I was kind of expecting that to just be the title card. Like when we got an actual like title sequence later on, I was like, ooh, a double title card. I really enjoy this because it puts our protagonist in an open world surrounded by all different types. We get like this lay of the land. It's very exposition focused without being heavy-handed. I love this intro to Lori, who is such a fascinating counterpoint character. Busy Phillips is the spark plug that like drives the engine of the show. I'll get to her more later. And I love getting to know the son Travis in this as well. It's sort of like I learned a lot about the relationship between Jules and Travis in this scene, the way that he's in on her jokes and the way she perceives this town as well, that there's clearly a friendship there. And we see that friendship and that bond tested throughout this pilot. But I like how we see them so close early on. And it was evident to me from the beginning that even though Bill Lawrence went to my high school, this is so evidently Geoff's high school. So, Geoff, could you describe your math teacher to us a little more in detail?
What?
Oh my God, I do not want to dox any of my teachers, please.
I'm not asking for names.
Oh, okay. But
I'm asking for home addresses.
What I do want to do as the Floridian of this panel of podcast hosts is I want to congratulate Busy Phillips for being the most convincing Floridian I have ever seen on TV. And I say that purely as a compliment. Normally it is an insult, but like I love the character of Lori because Lori is nearly everyone I went to high school with who stayed in Florida, where it's just like one of those things where it's just like, yeah, no, 100%. I would definitely meet Lori in a Publix parking lot before we went out so that we could get like a pub sub and then go to the bars later. Like that's 100% a thing. And it's such a fun, I love the word spark plug that you use, Max, but it's an energy that's necessary in this. It is
for sure.
It is almost that antagonizing energy of like, hey, you need to keep on moving with your life and like fuck being old because you need to be young now that you're divorced. Meanwhile, sitting there is the constantly only looks like he's 18 years old Dan Byrd playing Travis as like this where like I love the idea of with your son and your best friend playing a game that I love to play at the airport, which is partner or child, but they're playing son or boyfriend.
Boyfriend.
I do that all the time, and I think that everyone should do that, but not be judgy about it, just like as a matter of fact. Rich, what about you? What about this first scene for you?
I mean, Busy Phillips is a star. I love Busy Phillips just so much in anything that I've seen her do. What this does establish is an extremely weird connection to everyone and 17-year-olds in this in this town. And I don't feel that there is a lot of... I don't think that this would fly 2025.
Sure.
Just,
I would agree with you.
But also, they are TV high schoolers, so they're easily in their 30s. Like the dude that they point to with their shirt off, that's like with his shirt off, that's like very clearly 29 years old. That's
a
that's
42-year-old man. He's
also,
actually older than Courteney Cox.
And they do actually a very good job of like, and I think the success of Shrinking owes a lot to the relationship that Dan Byrd and Courteney Cox have in this show, because a lot of the charming and fun elements of Shrinking is the very adult to adult relationship that the parents have with their children. And it is, it is involved in separation and in Shrinking's case, death, the single parenthood, that opens that door. But yeah, I mean, it's like a removal of innocence and making them their own adult character, which is nice.
So let's talk about this introduction to two of Jules, counterparts in her son and in her coworker. But there's a very different woman that also exists in Jules' life, Ellie. And we've mentioned the idea that this character is going to be around, but Ellie is very much let's just even call it the traditional woman in her 40s who is still married in a relationship that I love so much, but I am not going to call traditional just based off of how they talk to each other.
Sure.
And it does allow the audience in a very interesting way to have 3 different women, 3 very different stages of life to connect to. And I'm curious for you two if that's a tool that you like or something that you're sort of like, it might be a little bit too much.
I love this as like a 3-header. I love this ability to take 3 characters who all kind of represent the same demographic, but very distinct lanes with Jules, Laurie, and Ellie, because we get to see life from 3 very unique perspectives, all tackling whatever the issue of the day is going to be in each episode. And they all play off of each other so well. Their personalities are distinct enough that they don't feel like they blend into one. And even just seeing a primetime sitcom where it's 3, like, it's very clear 3 leads are like 3 adult women is really a testament to, Lawrence doing something that maybe wasn't the norm on TV in 2009 and giving these people platforms to play emotionally deep characters who are empathetic, and they are complicated, and they're dealing with problems, and they're learning to rely on each other, and they're adjusting to their surroundings, and they can be funny, and they can be brash, and they can be true and emotional, and it's fun to see all of them get their moments in this pilot.
I think it's really fun that Bill Lawrence writes his own wife to be with a schlubby, not like Homer Simpson-esque, like dangerous type of husband, but like it's like a really fun like self-deprecation thing, I think, of just having Christa Miller play the loving yet still like biting wife of these guys who are just like big goofballs who have like they're flawed, they're just dudes. And
seeing the way that her character talks to the husband Derek and shrinking again, to go back to that as well, it feels like the glossier version of this relationship here in Cougar Town, for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We only get so many moments of Andy, or played by Ian Gomez, in this, but they're fantastic. The chemistry that Ian Gomez and Christa Miller have is just so...
Also Drew Carey Show alum.
Yeah, it's so perfect for this show, and it is exactly... Because there was a opportunity, right, for Bill Lawrence to be like, oh, well, we could show that marriage is perfect, right? And like we can put it on a pedestal, and we can say like, oh, like being married is the ultimate goal for everyone here, and like look at how perfect everyone's life is if they're married. Instead, by making it a comedic thing where you're like, well, there's really no perfection amongst these 3 lifestyles. It's such a smart fucking choice that I love.
But that wouldn't be a Bill Lawrence pilot then. I think about like so many of his shows. Like you talk about Scrubs, you can talk about Cougar Town, you see it in Shrinking, you see it in Ted Lasso, where these protagonists are they're these dreamers, and they're these earnest characters, and they are people who want to see the good in others, but they have flaws in their life, and they're trying to discover themselves and discover the world. Like the way that, JD sees the world compared to Jules, compared to Ted, compared to Jimmy, like all these characters have these very clear emotional wants, and while they're, idealistic, none of them see the world as perfect and like, crystal clean. They do see it as having flaws, but try to navigate it.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about why this day is different than any other day, right? There is a very, very specific call to action that we are given to Jules by her neighbor, Grayson, who is a gentleman that I would only assume is around the same age as Jules, who says that she could never bag a younger man in this, after he seems to be going through a multitude different women who are much, much more his junior.
Geoff, what a beautiful way to describe a creepy hoe phase.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never one to shame someone's yum or yuck someone's yum in this instance.
I don't know.
I think that the Grayson in the version of this pilot, right? Because we can talk a little bit about the idea of the name of this show not matching up to the show itself in later versions of it, right? But in this instance, we do need someone to be the bad guy, someone to get Jules out of her run of being self-deprecating and being like, hey, I don't deserve a next. Maybe I hyper-focus on my job or hyper-focus on my kid. We don't get a club scene that reminds me of a very specific cocktail lounge in Boca Raton, Florida called the Blue Martini. Look it up. We get this instance where Jules goes to a cocktail lounge to try to put herself back out there and see what the landscape is like. And I want to hear from you two. I have two questions for you. One, have you ever been to a cocktail lounge like this? Because boy, is it a fucking trip. And two is what do you think of this being almost the way of initiation of Jules into this new lifestyle?
I don't go to a lot of places that have like tile flooring and remind me of like a cocktail scene or like a bar scene from Austin Powers. I just like not a lot of marble in my life, so I'm gonna go no on that. Sorry, what was your second question again? I was so
Max,
caught up on the floors.
I'll leave the second question for you since Rich took the bait. What do you think about this as a introduction into this lifestyle that Jules is trying to enter?
Well, I think it's best explained in the song that is playing, Bulletproof by LaRue, in which we learned that she's been there, done that, messed around. I'm having fun. Don't put me down. And that's really what we see Jules doing. She's getting out, but she wants to do it on her own terms. And I think so much of this pilot and so much of the idea of Cougar Town is Jules is learning to live life on her own terms. And I think that this club scene is a really good example of that. We see the women who are older than her that are even still going to this bar, who are hoping to score a young man for the night. But we see also the young men who are, dissing and paying no attention to those women and calling them out in a very disrespectful manner. And she's stuck because she wants to learn to do things on her own terms. And she doesn't want to listen to people like Grayson who perpetuate the stereotypes that force women to feel like they have to conform to a certain thing or put themselves in a certain box when they hit that age. And I think it's just fascinating to see her in this world, like this kind of void, this chasm of what do I do next?
Mm-hmm.
So Jules is successful, right? There is a gentleman who is interested, a younger guy. I was fully prepared. I don't know about the two of you, but it's been about 16 years since I've watched this pilot, and I was fully prepared for this child, I will call him a child, to be a high school classmate of Travis. Were either of you like expecting that like slight turn or that slight reveal in the show?
He did look older, and Travis can't drink yet, so that would be the
I
only.
understand that, but you're saying that as if a fake ID is not a thing, Rich.
You're right,
especially in Florida. Are you
Florida
kidding me?
does say the fake ID state on your license
You
plates.
get your driver's license and you get the fake ID at the same time, and they're like, "Don't use this with the cops."
Go around back for the fake ID.
I mean, I was shocked seeing someone smoking indoors in this club scene, and then I remembered where the show takes place.
Florida,
Culver
baby.
City.
Every place is technically a casino.
But I mean, as you see Jules start to embrace this lifestyle, and even, bring this guy home, but also deal with self-doubt.
Well, she does not bring the guy home. Let's be very clear about
he gets
that.
kidnapped.
Busy Phillips is the ultimate wing woman in this show, and it's perfect. It's the perfect chaos agent to add to be able to shove someone into try this lifestyle out. How do the scene that preceded or that happened after this initiation, what do you guys think about that?
To go from Jules's illusion being broken by the guys who say that chick went to high school with my mom and watching her go home defeated, to immediately cutting to busy Phillips drunkenly screaming out of a car, "Hey, you left it at the bar, bitch." That is my line of the night. That is the MVP line of this night. And I don't know if it's quite the like reversal on the all is lost moment, but it gets us back on track in such a fun way that this gift has been dropped off on our doorstep, and we have a second chance at redeeming this night and getting that thing that we sought to do, but in a space we're more comfortable in, our own home. Maybe we're not a club person, but now Jules is in her own territory. She has home field advantage, and she can, try to make
that means
something
she comes
happen.
first.
Yeah, she can make something
First
happen
and
with this
always,
man
baby.
on her own terms.
So when she gets her Uber meats delivered, what she does too, and I'm glad you brought up the all is lost moment, because the all is lost moment involves Christa Miller's character calling her saying, "Hey, that didn't work out, right? We can talk, like we can hang out right now." And then immediately that gets cut off by, "Hey, this is a new thing for your life." And it very easily could have been bed by 10:30 after a couple of glasses of wine. And yeah, sorry, what do you got, Geoff?
But one of the things that I love is they bring Christa Miller's character in. Christa Miller's character is the one that gives Jules permission to dive into the deep end,
Yes.
right? And that is such a fun instance of, it seems like we have Lori and Ellie on two different sides of the pendulum, but they're actually both having the same mission of being good friends to Jules and saying, like, you need to do this thing, and you're the reason you're not doing it. We're all encouraging you and cheering you on at the same time.
Well, you can't have oops all Lories. Like, that's a dangerous premise.
Oops All Lories is right after Oops All Kramers on ABC's new lineup, and I can't wait. I'm ready for it.
Oops All Lories would be like a reality series. I would love that.
Oops All Lories is a British TV show.
Oh, no.
That took me a moment.
It's so dumb.
Wait, is that the British remake of Taxi?
Yes. That's actually Cash Cab. It's
What's all these Lories then?
I do want to talk about the idea of vision. We do have like two all is lost moments in this show. The first is the idea of, hey, she didn't end up going with this guy. The second, though, is dealing with her son having to deal with his mom getting back out there, and the sexy real estate signs, and the idea that guys are making fun of, her son who beats the shit out of someone with the sign, which, like, low key, I was crying from laughter in that moment in time. But how do you think this show does with dealing with the idea of trying to find your identity while also still having to be a mother?
Well, I think Cougar Town, and now that I'm really thinking back on it, has a very clearly stated 3-act structure. Act 1 literally ends with Lori walking through that door into the unknown at the club. Act 2 ends with her getting walked in on by her son and her ex-husband, and Act 3 is the resolution to these decisions she's made. And so we get this plot structure that really sets us up for a lot of resolution in that third act, and we get back to that connection to that relationship with her son from Act 1, and what can she do to earn that back. We get to deal with the ramifications of her trying to become invested in this new lifestyle and maybe the difficulties that come with that. And we also get resolution to this callback gag throughout the episode that we haven't talked about, but this runner of every single one of her now sexy real estate signs, paid for by Lori, of course, have been stolen by a middle schooler, and we just see him in the background of so many shots. It's such a fun gag. It is so Bill Lawrence.
Yep.
And we get to, resolve this minor villain. Grayson's the real villain of this pilot. Fuck that guy. But we get to deal with a lesser and much more comedic villain in an 8th grader, although Grayson will get his comeuppance too.
And to go back to your point, Geoff, about Travis handling, I mean, it's something that you don't see in a lot of media in general, and especially not comedies, of like the kid dealing with their parent being back on the dating scene and what that means about their parent being like essentially like portraying themselves as like dating or sexually viable to people, and seeing that as a like a burgeoning adult. And it's very interesting that he seems to be handling it super well, but it's like, you know, sitcom well. But you can see it boil over, and when he's literally beating one of his classmates with his mom's sign after they're making fun of him with it. It's a theme that I haven't seen explored a lot, and I think they just handled it in such a funny way that it's like, oh, are you really going to be okay with it this whole time? Absolutely not. He's going to see red at least twice in this process.
Yeah. So this show ends like a lot of sitcoms do. We need to have this speech. We need a speech from our lead to be able to tell us what we should be expecting, or, you know, how we are a flawed person, but we're working on it, sort of thing. And we get a couple of those in this show, right? We get one at a house that Jules is trying to sell. We get one in front of Grayson as well, and we get one in front of an 8th grader. Mm-hmm. And I mean, is there one that, or a statement that is given to you by Jules that you sort of are like, all right, cool, this is what this show is about at the end of the day?
I think the speech on the yard to Grayson feels like the clearest mission statement of what this show really is. It is fighting back against this male stereotype and this negative perception that is perpetuated by Grayson against women of a certain age. And it is her reclaiming and owning being a 40-year-old single woman. And if he doesn't like it, he could piss off, and she shoves him to the ground. She claims her emotional and physical strength against Grayson and the patriarchy in that moment. And it's such a sitcom third act, this is my mission statement speech.
Right.
But, and again, we talked about this earlier on, it being Courteney Cox gives it the conviction for it to play. And I think you need someone with her magnitude. And it is almost like her welcome back moment in a way. It's, you know, post Friends, I did this FX drama that was edgy that didn't pan out, and now I am back in your home, and yes, I am older than when I played Monica Geller, but like I am still strong, I am still funny, I am still charismatic, and like you are going to respect me.
Max, I'm glad you brought that particular chat like with Grayson up, that moment up, because in the very first like 3 minutes of this pilot, they have that first chat, and I wrote down, I was like, oh, this is like the mission statement, like in the first 3 minutes of this pilot. All the older single men are either broken, gay, or chasing younger girls, and that's really it. It's like it's establishing that that separation of gender in sexual expectations in that age, and like what feels okay.
So our show ends, or our pilot ends, with, you know, Jules is going to embrace this new lifestyle. She is going to have this younger man that she is going to continue seeing. Do we know if it's in a romantic way or maybe just for sex? Who knows? But we're going to, it seems like, grow up with Jules in her new era as part of this show, and that is our pilot. But I want to take a chance and want to take a moment to talk about things that we love. There's a lot of this pilot that we did not talk about. This pilot was chunk full of stuff, and I want to give you all the opportunity to give some shine to something else that you loved about this.
I'm going to go with callbacks and runners as my things that I loved in this. Nice. I love that in the very beginning, we have Grayson say that guys don't call each other tiger. It's always champ or samurai. And then in the third act, when he's shoved down to the ground by Jules, we get Andy offering him a hand and calling him samurai. I love that we see this 8th grade boy just throughout random scenes stealing all of Jules's real estate signs. I even love this isn't really a callback, but the popping into frame of the older man on the balcony above Jules and Lori when they're doing the house tour, and just all of these things that feel so Lawrence-esque throughout this. So many of the jokes that I came to love in Scrubs, like their DNA feels intact in Cougar Town as well.
Rich, what about you?
I feel you. And I know you guys want Rich's John from Cincinnati corner to talk about Brian Van Holt.
I was waiting for it.
And I love this character so much. He's not a huge factor in this show in just the pilot. He becomes one a significantly larger factor throughout the first season and then the rest of the show. But the thing I liked was Barb. Barb with the 60s beehive haircut, treating all the men like fucking canned meat around town. And
what a choice. What a choice.
Yeah. I just love that character so much because it's such a delight to watch an older woman treat 20-year-old men like they're just fucking sock puppets. It is so funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, I want to congratulate the show. There are characters that become larger parts of the show later that they use very much, and I've used this analogy before, as truffles, where you get a little bit of them and you're like, ooh, I want a lot more of that.
And Barb stays in it, baby.
You don't want a lot more. You want a little bit of them, and you want to continue so that you look forward to it rather than having a mouthful of truffles. I do want to... Rich, I know you had a little bit of... self-control when talking about Brian Van Holt, but I want to, I love the character of Bobby Cobb in this because instantaneously with the gregariousness that he brings to the screen and like almost this foolishness, you immediately understand why Jules was married to this person at one point in time. And it is that
charisma
sort of thing.
dripping.
You need to have an idiot on screen. You need to for a Bill Lawrence show. And like, this is exactly what I want from this character. Let's talk about wait a minute moments.
I see a lot of myself in Bobby Cobb in the fact that I also want to ride a riding mower while listening to Foghat with my shirt off.
We have multiple times acknowledged that Courtney Cox cannot be freed up to do Cougar Town if Dirt is not canceled. And I'd be remiss to not give the same treatment to Brian Van Holt cannot do Cougar Town if John from Cincinnati does not get canceled.
This is the truest thing in the world that you've ever said, Max.
This is the butterfly effect.
Some things I know, some things I don't, but the world is better because we had Brian Van Holt in this pilot.
If John from Cincinnati did not sacrifice itself for its sins, we'd never have Bobby Cobb in Cougar Town.
And he arose 3 seasons later.
Yeah. Let's talk about wait a minute moments, things that caused you pause. I'm just going to start off really quickly. I feel so bad for the actor who played Ryan, he was like, oh shit, I'm this guy's best friend in this pilot. I'm going to get screen time. I'm going to get lines. I'm going to be featured throughout this, especially like, this guy is in, the lead is into younger men. Like I'm pretty attractive. I am so sorry, Jonathan McDaniel, that you were in one episode of Cougar Town. One episode.
Oh,
just
this is
the
it?
Pilot. And
that's a bummer.
it. Then they got rid of the best friend being Ryan. So I apologize for that in every sense of the word. And then just another thing. More crackers after coitus, please. More crackers with more snacks.
Yeah, all right.
When that line,
sure, Jeff.
that line had me on the floor. Like I was crying because he was like, "Yeah, once you said it, I couldn't stop thinking about it." And I was like, "Yeah, you just said it," and I'm just like, "Yeah, why don't I have more crackers in my?"
Truly, home? She wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers. It's God like the saying goes.
What is the best post-sex cracker? What do we think?
Uncle.
I was going to say a club cracker, personally. A club or a
interesting.
Ritz.
Interesting. I'm
What
going
about you,
either
Rich?
Cheez-Its or Triscuits. I gotta...
Ooh, okay.
Triscuits are an upsetting mouthfeel if you don't have water next to you. But
You also need to have something with the Triscuit. You can eat a club cracker or a Ritz by itself. It's
A
buttery, it's
Triscuit,
delicious.
though, that's just like wheat
everywhere.
stitched together. That's getting everywhere, dude.
That is just a messy...
have you ever just been like high as shit and you got a box of like black pepper Triscuits next to you? You're going through that thing in record time.
You have way more Triscuits in your life than I do.
Dog, my go-to...
You gotta step up to the plate, Jeff.
My go-to munchie snack for years was Triscuits and cream cheese.
You're
dog.
telling me you guys aren't just keeping Carl's Jr.'s, Munchie, whatever the hell they do, like right by your bedside where it's like cheese sticks, a burger, and like a large drink or some shit
Fucking
like that?
what?
That's too heavy, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess so. What about you two? Any? We can keep on doing Cracker Talk, or we can do that on our other podcast.
Cracker
What about
Talk.
Wait a Minute
That's just a
Moments?
podcast, man.
That's bussing with the boys. No, I'm kidding. But that's
Uncle was that's crazy work. Uncle Cracker after sex is crazy work.
Rich. What about you? Any Wait a Minute Moments from this? podcast, or
I
from
mean,
this
I
episode?
gotta obviously go with the how much body talk there is about a lot of skinny people. The fact that like the least skinny person on this like rotation is Busy Phillips, and Busy Phillips is a petite person. It is like it's pretty insane. I think that part in particular, and I know that we're pre-social media boom, we're pre like body positive movement by probably almost a decade. It's weird to watch with that lens in hindsight.
Max, what about yourself?
I'm going to go with the line of saying that the photos for the billboards look like that night we got drunk on amaretto and played dress up, because I did get drunk on amaretto once at a friend's wedding, and it's a slow burn with a real painful next morning, and I just cannot...
There's like more sugar than alcohol.
There's so many choices you could have made, and that was a terrible one.
Yeah, no, there's no good call of getting DiSerono drunk. It's just a wait a minute moment to anyone listening out there. Don't be like Jules and Lori. Don't get drunk on amaretto. It's just a real bad time the next
is the name
day.
of my band in high school.
Did you go semi-pro with it? Were you doing amaretto stone sours all game long?
I think I was really influenced by the DiSerono on the Rocks ads that night.
Oh,
Wow.
God. Yeah, you know, alcohol marketing does work. We do have one more question, gentlemen. This is an in-flight question coming to us from Instagram from Lauren, who asked, what are some other shows that didn't live up to their title? So I'm curious for you two. Is there another show that is top of mind for you where you're like, yeah, that title did not do a good job of selling me?
Yeah. 24. There's only one guy. There's only one of them.
All right.
Why do they call it 24?
I mean, that is a stellar point.
Thank you so much.
Max, what about yourself?
I'm going with the short-lived Stars drama, Magic City. It's about a hotel in Miami. Not one person did a trick.
I thought you were about to relate it to the strip club in Atlanta.
No, I wanted to see sleight of hand tricks. Fucking love magic.
There's two really dumb answers that I have, and I'm trying to figure out which one. They're both related to HBO properties, so I'll go with this. John from Cincinnati is not shot in Cincinnati, and I find that appalling as a show. How dare you?
No, it's JC. It's Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, how dare you tease me with the beauties of the Queen City and not show me a single damn one of them? Also,
He doesn't eat a single chili dog the whole season.
there is not a single bit of Greek meat sauce in that entire damn...
Oh, they didn't go to one brewery in a gentrified warehouse that entire season.
What the hell? I did not see the Cincinnati Reds at least once in that entire show. Well, Lauren,
His
thank you
name
so
is
much.
Ellie of the Cross,
That is
technically.
true. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for that in-flight question. We'll make sure to talk about how to submit those at the end of this episode. But let's talk a little bit about the history of this show. This show had 6 seasons and 102 episodes. The first 3 seasons of this show were all on ABC before it was eventually moved to TBS for the final 3 seasons. As Bill Lawrence has said, they moved to TBS for a couple of reasons, one of which they promised more guaranteed
Creative control.
episodes for
Oh.
the show. So as far as where this show was filmed, we mentioned it a little bit. Not a single scene of this show was filmed in Florida. And I think
Why didn't they shoot it in Cougar Town?
Yeah, why?
Cougar Town needs the revenue. There's only 100 people that live there.
Well, maybe if Cougar Town offered tax incentives.
Yeah, I
fuck.
mean, the entire show was filmed in
Vancouver
Culver
Town.
City, as well as in the Miami Street backlot.
I'm so sorry.
Let's talk, we talked about this a little bit, but as far as the show and its name, we mentioned that the show even considered before it went to air changing its name. But I wanted to mention a few of the ones that were possibilities but never came to light.
Unnamed
One
Brian Van
was,
Holt project.
It was one was it was going to be called the Sunshine State, but Mr. Sunshine was Matthew Perry's show that was on around the same time, and
That's
they
right.
thought that it would be a little bit confusing. They also were thinking about calling it Grown Ups, but Adam Sandler has a very successful series of movies that went through at that same time.
Shabba-dabba-doo.
And the other two names that were included were Wine Time and Family Jewels. I think that last one is ridiculous, but also a chef's kiss moment for sure. We love words.
I
was
love
pretty
that.
good. That was pretty
but
good.
the show did actually joke that when they moved networks, new networks still same dumb name in like their ad campaigns, which you absolutely
That's
adore. The premiere of the show got 11.28 million viewers, and the show then averaged in that first season 7.34, which I mean for 2009 was really decent, but as the show continued and then eventually moved over to cable, the viewership numbers did drop, which is to be expected.
Sure.
Yes, there are DVDs for every single season of this show. We did talk a little bit about how 2009 was a juggernaut year for ABC in terms of pilots and even just what premiered at this same time. The idea that you had Modern Family and then this,
Right.
both of which have
Buddy, that was a
such-
great day. That was a
such
great day
legs.
for me.
Yeah, that Rich was thriving in high school in 2009.
Modern Family and then Cougar Town back to back. Sign me the hell up.
A plus.
Man, this was our first semester of college.
That's right. Take me back.
This was yeah. As far as the show itself, it was also shown in the UK as well as Canada. And as far as awards go, this show did
Cougarton
receive,
Abbey.
As far as awards go, this show got 28 nominations and 5 wins. That's the history of this show. Rich, if we're not talking Cougar trivia, I am upset with you. So it's time for Rich's game of the week.
It's time for Jeff to be upset with me.
No.
We're doing Cougar Town cast trivia. I figured I had a hunch that you guys would be able to guess too easily that we were doing Cougar facts, so I went the other way.
How many of them are there? How do you run away from one?
Boy, that's a good question.
Also called mountain lions and catamounts.
Well, Jeff, they're normally women over 40, so I feel like if you're a young man and relatively in shape, you could probably get away from
No,
one
they're all
pretty
people
quickly.
who attend University of Vermont. Go Cats.
All right, Courteney Cox, the lead of the show, the one from Friends. You know, Friends. She was in the Bruce Springsteen video. Do you guys
I
know who
think I
Courteney
know that
Cox is?
person.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys will connect the dots later. All right. So she actually owns a first in TV history. She was the first person to say this in a commercial. Is it A, cell phone, B, drunk, C, cool, or D, period?
Or E, fuck.
I'm gonna say D, period.
That's where I was going to, Max. I think period.
She is the first person to reference period as menstruation in a Tampax commercial in, I
Hell
believe,
yeah.
94. All right. Krista
Oh,
Miller.
God. That's so upsetting. Oh, my God.
Well, we already, I know it took until 1994 to be able to say it on TV. All right. Krista Miller, obviously, is the one of the stars of the show and also the husband of creator Bill Lawrence. And since we already met the president of ABC earlier in this episode, she is also the niece of a early creator of what TV show? Is it A, The Simpsons, B, Saturday Night Live, C, Gunsmoke, D, Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In?
I'm gonna say C, Gunsmoke.
I'm gonna say Saturday Night Live.
It is Saturday Night Live. She is the niece of Dick Ebersol.
Oh.
And Susan St. James. So yeah, here's some Cougar Town cast trivia. I'm sorry for upsetting you, Jeff.
Oh, you're okay.
You can learn more about cougars on the World Wide Web.
And in my own time. Well, Rich, thank you so much for
Go to www.pornhub.com/
Go and look up, audience, if you want to learn more about cougars. www.cougars.com. I can't promise what's there. Well, gentlemen, as our flight starts to come to a land, I have two questions for you. And the first is, we watched this pilot. Are you going to watch more based off of the pilot and the pilot alone? And the second question is, we've sort of been on a little bit of a kick on this podcast, but I'm curious to ask you again, as far as shows that breach topics that might be a little bit taboo, but put it into a different light, into a comedic light, how do you feel Cougar Town does, and do you want to see more shows like Cougar Town on the air? I don't want to reboot. I'm done with that question.
No.
But I want to hear if you.
I don't want Cougar Town.
Yeah, Cougar Town is. I can't wait.
Not Cougar Town.
Cougar Town. So, Rich, start us off. What do you think?
I am 100. I have watched, I believe, every episode of this series already, and I'm definitely watching the second episode based on watching the pilot again. The patter of this show, another Bill Lawrence staple, is just so addictive to watch. You see it in Scrubs, you see it in Shrinking, you see it in Ted Lasso. There is a specific way that these characters make jokes to each other and relay information, and it is it's delightful. Number two, yeah, man, it's weird that we don't talk about divorce all that much in a non-super dramatic setting, because it is so common, and I feel like the world in general would probably be a better place if we discuss the realities of marriage in a non-dramatic way. Yeah, absolutely. Show me more kids dealing with parental split ups. Show me more families dealing with adults being adults. I don't know.
Max, what about yourself?
I'm gonna blow your guys' mind.
Oh shit!
This is my first time watching this show.
Wait, period?
Ever? I've never. Bill, I'm so sorry. I've never seen Cougar Town until I watched it last night.
I was unfamiliar with your game.
So now the dramatic moment. Max, you watched the pilot for the first time. Are you going to watch more Cougar Town?
As the host and target demographic for this podcast, yes, 100%. Absolutely.
Had us going there.
I think that this is delightful. It has so much of the humor and patter that I love from Scrubs, and I see in the best moments today in like Shrinking and Lasso, and I'm 100% in on watching more of this. As for your second question, yes, as someone who is entering a new phase in their life personally, I want to see broad comedies that deal with the realities of life as an adult, as someone who's now entering his like older millennial phase. I want to see myself represented, damn it. I mean, I also,
why won't they make a show about white men?
I was just about to say it.
Ever since the league went off the air, I got nothing.
That was so long ago. Yeah, I saw myself in Taco, and there hasn't been a single moment since.
We used to have the league and Entourage, and now what does a guy who looks like me have? All of this is joking, obviously. No, but to what Rich said, yes, I want to see aging, and I want to see divorce, and I want to see these types of things portrayed with earnest attempts at humor, and this show nails that, and I'd be excited to see where it continues to go in further episodes.
This is 100% a watch just based off of the pilot, right? I was just cackling at the TV watching this, like just having a very fun 24 minutes, I think is how long this pilot is, and that is so nice to be able to just have. If you're like on the edge and you're like, I don't know. One, I have a lot of questions for you, but two, it's just so easy to be able to just have something like this and be able to laugh and enjoy. As far as more shows like this, yeah, I think it is important for us to start thinking less bombastic with our comedy and more in the idea of what are small situations that we can make slightly comedic and like really just thrive in the writing, rather than being like, but what if we turned it up to 25, not 11, 25 on that same measurement scale and just made someone fly through a wall? Isn't that so funny? Like, sure, that has its moment in time, but sometimes we just need to let an actor shine and be a comedy spotlight. And when you have great writing and you have someone at the helm like Bill Lawrence, it makes it really easy. So that's maybe me being like a little bit too idealistic, but if there's someone out there who's writing shit like this, executives, please pick it up, put it on TV. I think we all want to watch more of it.
Yeah.
As in general. Well, gentlemen, that is our flight. But before we go, I want to make sure that folks can find you wherever you are. Rich, where can folks find you?
You can find me doing a walk of shame, but it's not a walk of shame if someone does it with you. And you can find me on Instagram at Damn That's Rich. You can find original sketch comedy from Max and myself on TikTok at Dadwagon Comedy.
Max?
Samurai, you can find me on all things social media at Maxwell Singh.
Nice.
And you can find me eating peanut butter crackers at the Blue Martini. But if you're looking for me on social media, you can find me at Run Jeff Run. If you're looking for the TV Pilot's License, you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave us reviews. It's really helping the podcast out, and we thank you so much. But if you want to see our smiling faces, you can join our growing YouTube subscriber list. And you can find us at TV Pilot's License. You have a question for the show, maybe you want to be a part of the show, you can submit those at tvpilotslicense.com or check out our Instagram, where we frequently survey and ask for your questions as well.
We do really read them on the air. Lauren's a real person.
If you want to have a voicemail put on air or a text put on air, 213-290-1713, leave those there, and we look forward to hearing from you. If you want to see what some of the stuff that we have coming up, make sure to follow us. We're really excited about the next guest that we have coming up next week. It's going to be a fun old time. But with the plane landed and the seatbelt sign off, we look forward to flying the bright skies of the TV world with you soon. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies and your finger on the dial.
Slow
Ride, bow down.